Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, I wanted to talk about a pretty interesting takeaway from me personally regarding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers preseason week 1 loss versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it is regarding the quarterback battle between Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. The reason I want to talk about this is because I think that Baker Mayfield certainly did some good for himself regarding the quarterback battle in preseason week 1, whereas I feel like Kyle Trask maybe took a smidge of a step back. Not a major step back, right? But maybe gave up a little bit of ground here to Baker Mayfield regarding any type of quarterback battle. So let's dive in. Firstly, regarding Mayfield and his overall play, I thought Mayfield looked good in the offense. He played, more than I thought he was going to play, which I thought was certainly notable and very interesting. But Mayfield was rolling out on bootlegs, was throwing very well, by the way, on the move. I thought that was a very interesting thing to see, and I thought it was a big positive for Mayfield. Had a very solid touchdown pass to Trey Palmer. It was a great throw. I honestly thought that he had overthrown it for a second, but Trey Palmer really made a great catch in the back of the end zone. That resulted in a touchdown. And overall, I thought Baker Mayfield just looked very comfortable in the offense and was able to really just lead this team down the field and overall just make some good plays when he was out there. Now, Kyle Trask. This isn't to say that Kyle Trask was bad in the game per se. I thought Kyle Trask had some good moments here and there, really had a couple of nice downfield passes that I thought was just, very good to see, right? Couple of play actions, just threw the ball downfield on time, on rhythm. Guys were catching it. Overall, some good stuff. Also, some things that were not in Kyle Trask's, fault, I guess you can say, is poor offensive line play and also a guy here or there dropping the football. Keefe had a pretty bad drop, hit him right in the breadbasket. It was just not Kyle Trask's fault, obviously. Offensive line is also, I think, something that is so finicky and can really obviously affect a quarterback's play. Kyle Trask was sacked 3 times in this game. Baker Mayfield was not sacked at all in this game, and that is certainly notable. I didn't see Kyle Trask get as many bootlegs as Baker Mayfield was getting throughout that process, but I will say Kyle Trask, was definitely standing in the pocket, wasn't necessarily moving around too much, and, did get sacked a couple of times in there. And we'll have some separate videos talking about the offensive line and how their poor performance is also another big takeaway. But also, it is notable there that Kyle Trask didn't always have the most time to throw the football. However, he did end up throwing an interception. All in all, wasn't too much pressure on that play. And I will say, great play by the cornerback. Jumped the route on the pass Kyle Trask was throwing. I believe it was intended for David Moore, I believe. Just a really good play by that cornerback. But also Kyle Trask, I don't know if it was a situation where he did not see the cornerback or thought that he could fit the pass into possibly a very tight window, but he went for it and it resulted in an interception, which we've heard Dave Canales talk about. They're like, hey, in game time types of situations, the quarterback who is turning over the football the least amount of times is going to be the guy they roll with. Kyle Trask got an interception in games. Baker Mayfield has none. In fact, Kyle Trask doesn't have a touchdown yet. Baker Mayfield has one. And I know it's not all statistically, what that boils down to, right? There's a lot of other different factors that go into quarterback play, but it still is notable and worth mentioning. But all in all, I will say this. Kyle Trask, while he didn't look terrible, and again, while certainly there's a lot of things that aren't Kyle Trask's fault, and I do think there were positives for Trask in this game, with some deep throws and just some overall really good timing and whatnot. And also, it's important to remember that a lot of the backups are in the game in these cases, both with Mayfield and with Trask. I will say that I would give this first game to Baker Mayfield. I think that he looked more comfortable in the offense, looked like he was able to make some more plays. Obviously, he ended up scoring a touchdown for the team, and just looked a little bit in better of a way than Kyle Trask, right? Now, what's going to be very interesting is to see when the situation is flipped, because next week Kyle Trask is going to be playing with the quote-unquote starters, whereas Baker Mayfield is going to be playing with the group that Kyle Trask had. So their situations are going to be completely switched around. How is that going to look? That is going to be interesting because right now, again, Baker Mayfield, I definitely think gained a little bit of ground here, a little bit of momentum. Kyle Trask maybe lost a bit of that momentum that he had made for himself in training camp practices and whatnot. So how is this going to continue? Will Baker Mayfield continue to build momentum for himself? Will Kyle Trask continue to lose momentum? Or will things maybe even out a little bit more now that the situation is going to be reversed in next week's preseason game? That is interesting. That's notable. But yeah, regarding the takeaways and whatnot, I thought Baker Mayfield definitely stepped up and gave himself some momentum here, whereas Kyle Trask took a bit of a step back, but there were some factors in that situation. Also, John Wolford, I thought, did some good stuff as well. Just like talking about John Wolford. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this down in the comments section below. The quarterback battle, everything that is associated with that. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, folks, we'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.